to make one fish, two fishes. But, you know, as I explained before, even in Thailand and in English, in French, Spanish, Russian, whatever the language is, it's constantly changing because of globalization, television, you know, speech, language it's evolutionary. It's like customs and culture. So the rules that we used to follow a generation ago, 40 years ago, are not always the same rules that we follow today. So that's why I use this example, because sometimes you'll see fishes, sometimes you'll just see fish. Box, one box, two boxes, because it ended in X, it ended in Z, it ended in that, it ended in S, it ended in CH, so we just add ES.
Teacher, is it correct way to pronounce fish or fishes? Is it correct way?
It's
Is it correct way to pronounce fish?
well,
Or fishes?
you can do either one. It's acceptable either way. It's acceptable either way. Most of the time, it's acceptable either way. Both, you know, neither is incorrect. Both are correct. Most of the time, the plural form of fish will be fish. Most of the time. But you will see, you know, you will see in print the plural form of fish being fishes.
Or fishes?
Okay? Can go either way. Now, there's another thing that we need to remember in English, and that is we have irregular, what we call irregular plural forms. In other words, to make more than one man, we change the middle letter. One man, two men. One woman, two women. And it's pronounced different. We don't say men, we say women. Women. Just because it's easier to say that. The mouth works more easily that way. So, woman, women. Say women. Women. Man, men, woman, women. One child, two children. One foot, 2 feet, 2 teeth, mice. And then, as if there weren't enough exceptions to the rule, we have some nouns that don't change at all. The plural form is the very same as the singular form. So one deer, two deer. One moose. You don't have moose in Thailand, but in Alaska, Canada, and in parts of America, you know, there will be moose. One moose, two moose. One fruit, two fruit. So if I had one apple here, this was an apple, and I had another apple, and then I had an orange, and I had a watermelon. I wouldn't say 4 fruits. That would be incorrect. I would just say fruit. One fruit, 4 fruit. Same thing. Corn is the same way. If you have one little piece of corn, it's a corn. But if you have a whole plate heaped with corn, you have corn. The plural is the same as the singular. Scissors. One scissor, but if we had several pair of scissors, we would have 4 or 5 scissors. Same thing with pliers, and you know what pliers are, right? It's a tool. You know what a plier is? Pliers? It's a tool, you know, that you use to like pick up things with. I'll have to bring in an example sometime. But it's the same thing. Pliers. Did you explain what yeah. But it's the plural form is the same. So yes, Ben.
I have seen force with S. What is the meaning?
To what?
Foot with S.
Foot?
Yes, S. I have seen that in many books.
If you have many foot, I don't think I am.
This is mean many kind.
What's the singular noun?
Singular is with S. This is mean many kind of foot.
A very kind. Help me out here.
She said she used to see fruits have S. It means.
Oh, fruit.
She said she used to see fruits.
Oh, well, fruit. I'm sorry, fruit. Yeah. If you go to the market and you see one apple, you would refer to that as a piece of fruit. Okay? I mean, one apple. It would be a piece of fruit. Now, if you went to the market and you saw the vendor, the person, had a bin of fruit, a bin of apples, and some watermelons, and some oranges, and some papaya, we would refer to that as, even though there are many different kinds of fruit there, we would say that the vendor is selling many kinds of fruit. No S. No S. Because it is one of those words. It is one of those words where the plural form is spelled just like the singular form. You know, when corn, it comes on the cob. Do you know what a cob is? A piece of corn. A piece of corn, you know? And we take one little piece off, okay? And you have yeah. So it doesn't matter whether you just have one piece of corn or you have a whole basket full of corn. It's still corn. We don't say corns. We don't add S on it. We don't do that. And fruit is the same way. One apple is a piece of fruit. If we had in our grocery basket some oranges and some apples and some watermelons and some papaya and some grapes, and we'd have a basket full of fruit. Same word, plural form. Now, with corn, if we take one little piece of, one little thing, we call that a kernel. A kernel. Spelled kernel. That's one little tiny piece. Now, when corn comes on the what we call the cob, do you call that you know what I mean by a cob? When it grows on the plant, you tear it off, and it's the little kernels. They grow on what we call the cob. Now, this, when you have the cob with all of the kernels on it, that's referred to as an ear of corn. Yeah. So in the USA, where they grow lots and lots of corn, if you just tear off the piece of corn from the stalk, what you have is an ear of corn. An ear of corn. Then you can pull off one little piece and you'd have a kernel of corn. Okay? A kernel of corn. Now, so if you referred to more than one ear of corn, we would say that you have 2 ears of corn. But notice we don't say you have 2 ears of corns. You just have 2 ears of corn. That's the whole